administration says that as soon as next month, they're going to be ending the legal status of more than 500,000 migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. If they don't leave before losing that status, they could be targets for deportation. So these migrants were allowed into this country legally under a program from the Biden administration.
If there ever was a definition of fuck around and find out, we have just found it. Where are my Miami Cubans at, huh? Where are you guys at? Because you guys were loud and proud back then. Where are you at now? He had you all fooled saying that the deportations were only for the bad people, the unalivers, the grapists, the ones bringing drogas into the country, right? He had you guys so fucking fooled. It was only the bad people. And now you guys fucked around and found out because you voted him in, and now look it. Y'all thought because your skin was light enough that you were going to get away with the deportations. But now that it's affecting you all, you're all on the internet boo-hooing and crying. Why are we going back to this country? Why are you sending me back? I did this the right way. He doesn't give a shit. When are you going to learn? If you're brown, if you speak Spanish, he wants you fucking gone. Gone. And now you fuck around and you found out.
Another Latino for Trump just got their happy ending. This is Mario Gavara, a news reporter based out of the Atlanta area who is very pro-ICE and very pro-MAGA. And like most Latinos for Trump, he really thought he was white. He thought they would accept him. He thought he was part of their little group. But to Mario's surprise, he recently found out that he's not that white. Mario is currently in his native country of El Salvador, because he got deported. But it doesn't end there for Mario. He actually got the Latino for Trump special. Not only was he recently deported to El Salvador, but he was also held in an ICE detention center for 100 days. But not only that, he was also held in solitary confinement. He really thought he got the MAGA pass, but instead he got the Latino for Trump special. Now, after being deported to El Salvador, Mario released this statement. And what's insane to me is that he is still bootlicking. He still thinks he's white. He still thinks that MAGA loves him. He still thinks that he's part of their special little group. But regardless, I love happy endings like this. Karma is a beautiful thing, and karma does not discriminate. But anyways, let me know what you guys think.
You voted for Trump. How do you feel now?
Horrible. Horrible.
What did you vote for?
I voted for change, but I didn't vote for this change.
Through tears, wearing an ICE-issued uniform, Cynthia Oliveira begs the Canadian government for help. She says her nightmare started on June 13th when she went to her green card interview.
You thought you were going to be getting your green card, but instead they arrested you. Did they trick you?
Yes. They said, look, she's getting deported immediately.
He supported Donald Trump. His whole entire family supported Donald Trump, and now she sits in an ICE detention center awaiting deportation. She's from Canada, and get this, she was picked up at her green card appointment. So she was going to an appointment. This was in line with her getting her green card, and that is where they detained her. Now, as you can see in her interview, she also supported Donald Trump. She couldn't vote for him because she's undocumented, but she supported him and supported her husband and her husband's family for Donald Trump. And I don't know what to say because we told you this was going to happen. They all think, well, he was only supposed to deport the criminals. We told you that meant you as well. They think that you are a criminal. And it's just frustrating because the Latinos for Trump community was so loud, so boisterous. They made their entire fucking existence known the whole election cycle, telling us that we were wrong and we had no idea what we were talking about. And now the Latinos for Trump community is getting wrecked across the nation. This was one of many stories. There were so many I didn't know who to pick. This is happening everywhere. So Latinos for Trump, think about next election. Think about midterms.
So the MAGA home builder whose business is being destroyed by Trump's immigration policy is back with another interview that is more embarrassing and more telling than the first one. This is Mario Guerrero, no relation. This 3-time Trump voter did an interview with the New York Times earlier this year. He talked about how South Texas construction industry has been badly hurt by Trump's immigration policies, and that it is mostly hurting because they're not going after undocumented people. They're going after workers who have documentations. Doing that whole "this is not what I voted for" excuse, even though we tried to warn him. Well, in a new interview, he put on full display the cognitive dissonance that Latinos for Trump have. Because in an interview with Texas Monthly, Mario said he doesn't remember Trump saying that Mexicans were the problem. He remembers him saying Venezuelans and how they have one of the biggest gangs in the world. The interviewer did press Mario on that, saying, hey, Trump started his career saying that Mexico is not sending its best. And Mario kept saying, honestly, I don't remember him saying that. And whether or not you want to believe him, this does say a lot about Latino for Trump's psyche. That they all believe that Trump is talking about someone else. Mexicans thinks he's talking about Venezuelans. Venezuelans thinks he's talking about Mexicans. Cubans thinks he's talking about everybody else. Dominicans thinks he's talking about Haitians. When Trump is talking about all of us. That's what I've been trying to tell Trump supporters. They can't tell us apart. I remember telling a racist once that I'm from the Dominican Republic, and they said, what part of Mexico is that? All of you believe that you're the good one. You're the rule to the exception. They're going to love you, and they're talking about everybody else. They're talking about you too. And a lot of you wouldn't even be in this place if you weren't hurting financially the way you are now. Because you were able to build businesses literally off the labor of other Latinos. You were able to rise in the ranks because of the work of so many activists, Latino activists, black activists. And then because you made a little money, you thought you were better than everyone else. And then what did you do when you inherited all that work that was done by activists and the ancestors? You spat in their face by voting for a racist that is working to take away all the progress that we have made.
What happens when a policy you supported suddenly affects your own family? Across America, some Latino Trump supporters say immigration enforcement is now reaching their communities, sparking difficult conversations about expectations, accountability, and the real-life impact of public policy. So were these consequences misunderstood, or is the situation more complicated than many people expected? Let's watch more clips and we'll come back to talk about it.
This little boy was named Orlean Hernandez Reyes, and he's no longer with us. Because back in January, when Donald Trump was attacking the Somali community in Minnesota, his mother and her sister were detained on their way to work in Alabama, while Orlean was with a babysitter. After verifying that Wendy was an undocumented immigrant, the local sheriff's department handed her off to ICE, and she was moved to a detention facility in Louisiana. So Orlean, who was only 2 years old at the time, was sent to live with her brother-in-law. According to Wendy's testimony, she pleaded from the detention facility to be reunited with her son, so that even though he's an American citizen, they could be deported together. But according to Wendy's testimony, her pleas were ignored. And now we find out that while she was detained, while she was being deported, Orlean was being whipped, beaten, and burned until he finally collapsed. And that's when his uncle called 911. But at that point, it was too late for Orlean. And an autopsy confirmed multiple broken bones, along with multiple internal injuries and things I can't say. This was how Orlean spent the last 3 months of his life. All because his mom, who was on her way to work, missed a hearing years ago and was unfortunate enough to be driving down the wrong road at the wrong time. You know, after Minneapolis, Donald Trump told Republicans not to talk about their mass deportation campaign, even though at the exact same time, DHS's own data shows they're detaining and deporting peaceful immigrants in 2026 at a higher rate than they were in 2025. And as recently as 2 weeks ago, Tom Homan assured the anti-immigrant MAGA community that they were going as hard as ever. And here we are. This is what happens. And I don't know about you, but at this point I have no choice but to spend the rest of my life holding these people accountable for the things they've done.
Yes, I'm Latina. And yes, I'm Republican. Yes, I love Donald Trump. I loved and still love Charlie Kirk. I am for ICE, and I am for deporting all of the illegal immigrants. Let's see, what else? I do have an IQ that's higher than average. Thank you very much. And you know, I really don't care what people think about me. And it's okay. If you're a Latina out there and you're a Republican or a Latino, that's totally fine. Let me tell you why. Because we're not defined by the color of our skin or what culture our ancestors came from. Because me personally, my family's been here for a couple hundred years. So I'm American through and through. You know, I don't know anything about my heritage in terms of where my ancestors came from. And I don't think it really matters because I'm here. This is the country that has provided opportunities for my family. This is the country that has given my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents every opportunity that they needed to be successful. So, you know what? If you want to hate on the country that gives you, you know, you want to bite the hand that feeds you, then get out of here. Like, if you don't want to say that you support Christian values, you support, you know, the American flag, our troops, maybe because your IQ is so low, you don't understand the strategy behind Iran and China and all the other things that have happened recently in this administration, you know, then leave. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to apologize for being Republican and Hispanic and MAGA, Latina. Like, that's what I am. I'm a Latina. I love Trump. You guys can say anything that you want to say. All I do is laugh when I read the comments. That's all I do. It doesn't faze me. So go for it. Come at me, bro. For real.
Immigration has always been one of Americans' most divisive issues because it involves more than politics. It affects families, businesses, schools, farms, local economies, and entire communities. Supporters of stricter enforcement argue that immigration laws should be applied consistently and that stronger border security is necessary for national security and the rule of law. Critics argue that broad enforcement measures can also affect long-established families, create labor shortages in industries like agriculture and construction, and leave communities living with uncertainty. That's why this debate continues to divide the country. The challenge for many governments is finding the balance between enforcing immigration laws while also considering humanitarian concerns and the economic realities facing American businesses. One thing is certain, every major policy has real consequences, and those consequences often reach far beyond the people lawmakers intended to affect. Whether you supported these policies or opposed them, the impact is being felt by families across the country. What do you think? Can America strengthen border security while also protecting families and meeting the nation's workforce needs? Share your thoughts in the comment respectfully, and before you go, do well to like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next.